Welcome to episode 4. My name is Matt Ramage. This is Everyman's Hustle. And today we have a great conversation with Ravi. He's a growth marketer and he specializes in B2B marketing. So, we talk about his strategies and what he's up to. And just have a great conversation. We met on Twitter just a few days ago. So, I hope you enjoyed the episode. Thank you.
All right, here we go. How's it going, Ravi? My name's Matt. This is Ravi. We just met on Twitter.
Awesome. Nice to meet you, Matt. Yeah, really good to. Thanks for inviting me on a call here.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, since I've been scrambling and had no chance to do any research, I'm going to have you introduce yourself.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, let's just make this like a normal chat instead of you can
Yeah.
ask me questions, I'll ask you questions instead of me doing all that question asking.
Yeah, sure. Just give you a quick background on me. I'm really new to Twitter, right? So I made an account last month in middle of January. So I've been trying to grow it. I'm at 70 followers, so yeah, whoop-de-doo. But still, so far, I've managed to book calls from it, appointments, meet some great people. I'll just give you a little bit about my history. So the past, say, 4 years, I've been doing outbound lead gen, so B2B appointment setting. Me and my agency, we set up cold email outbound systems. We do LinkedIn outbound as well. So we get B2B companies appointments. On the side of that, I also had a SaaS that I actually white labeled, and it was a LinkedIn lead gen SaaS. And it used to send emails and scrape LinkedIn for emails. I used that SaaS to sell that SaaS. And then essentially I grew that to about 600 sales. I stopped pushing that last year, but what that allowed me was to create some kind of passive income stream, which allowed me to travel the world. Last year, I spent half the year in India. I spent a few months in Thailand and a month in Australia as well.
Okay.
And now I'm back home in the UK and during the winter, so it's a lot colder than Asia.
Okay.
And partnering up with a new company where we're just looking to get them more appointments and more people into their program.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, lots to dig in here. So what is your SaaS program? Is that still running or
It's still running, it's still operational, but I put absolutely zero effort into this.
Okay.
The support was white labeled, the software was white labeled, but there's still, the thing with SaaS is like, it was the maintenance every month. One, to keep people on board, but also to support them. And it wasn't for me. I was doing everything alone until I met my current business partner, who operationally, I'm not an operations guy. I'm more of the front end sales content. And as soon as I met my partner, it made everything so much easier because then he was handling all the back end operational stuff that I couldn't. But yeah, that SaaS is still operating.
Okay. Yeah. I had a similar experience. 10 or so years ago, I created a CMS to power websites, and and it's actually still being used out there. But I was going into it, I didn't really understand that there's so much more to the back end and keeping it going and keeping it maintained. And it's after a number of years, I finally just came to the realization that I'm not going to overcome WordPress or all the other great software platforms out there. Although it's still working and still powering websites, but it's not something that I am working to keep the software maintained. And it's a lot. So I think a lot of people going into creating SaaSes or softwares for applications just don't realize that you got to keep that software going. You can't just build it and let it.
The users will dwindle down.
Yeah.
Nobody left. Whereabouts are you from, Matt?
So I'm from Los Angeles, and I guess I'll give you, since we just met, give you a little background. So I run an agency called eMarketed, and I've been doing that since my start date. I say is '98, but that's kind of when I was just doing stuff on the side, and then went full on 100% on my own in about 2000, 2001. Been doing it since, and create quite a while.
I was a
And
kid.
yeah, what's that?
I was still a kid in 2001.
Okay, I know. Yeah, it's funny. I'm meeting so many people on Twitter. I think I met somebody on Instagram yesterday that's 18-year-old digital marketer, and I was like, man, I've been digital marketing as long as you're
Longer than yeah. I
longer than
do
you've been
feel that
alive.
literally. I do feel that. So I'm 33, so I'm not one of those totally young guys, but I do feel like, oh, those guys who are 18 getting on Twitter now, starting their hustle and all that. I
Yeah.
feel like that's huge for them. And in 3-4 years, they're going to be it's so far ahead.
Yes. Yes. I know. Yeah. I don't. I think I feel like sometimes people will talk trash about the younger kids, but I love it. It excites me, and yeah, I wish I would have been. I dabbled a little when I first started, but I was all about growing the business, and it wasn't until probably the last year that I realized that like your personal brand should be important, whether you're
Mm,
on your own or working for a business. It should be
mhm.
something. And I wish if I would have been working on that personal brand all along, I'd probably be much further along.
Yeah,
Probably millions of followers, and I feel like it's never too late to start.
never.
Yeah.
That was literally the change when I started actually producing content and putting it out there. And ultimately, my strategy, like now, and I teach this to everybody, all the clients I work with and people in like my coaching group, it's just give everything away, give all your
Mm-hmm.
solutions away, figure out a solution to a problem that someone has, and just tell them the answer for it. They're gonna love you for it. They're gonna trust you for it, and they're gonna want more of what you have. And that's literally how I built the SaaS. Just I got people on a call to give them a strategy, and I used to grow a Facebook group. I just give all my videos away. This is how I get leads. This is what I do, like step by step,
Mm-hmm.
make it so easy for them to get the result. And that I think that's the people think it's. And I run an automation agency as well, so that there's that side of it. But I'm also now teaching people don't do the automation until you've actually validated a message that's actually that's working. Don't send 1,000 people a message just to get quick leads. Actually send 10 people a personalized message, see what their response is,
Mm.
generate the relationship, and who knows, maybe they network you with someone else or give you a referral. And I think that's the real power of real relationships.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. And I love what you said about automation too. I think so many people, they hear automation and they just start automating things like before they've got a system, before they've,
That
it's
was me,
just,
yeah, a
yeah.
few years back. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So what kind of, within the like SaaS B2B space, are there certain types of companies you work with, or what's the set niche inside that?
Yeah, it's varied across the years, but for with the agency, it's pretty much anyone with an audience on link. If your audience is on LinkedIn and you have a somewhat of a B2B service, we can try and help you.
Okay.
For me, it was more about we'd set up the back end systems, but where I think which does the scalability, but where I think the real value is the some of the prospect journey. Like, what are you saying in the first message? Are you trying to give value? Are you just pitching them? How are you standing
Mm.
out from the market? Because everybody's getting pitched and spammed and everything like that. What is your approach to get someone? I tell people the whole point of a cold message is to get it from one, start a relationship, but two, get someone who's a cold stranger from cold to warm, whatever warm means, a warm connection audience. You're not trying to sell them on your service. Shouldn't even mention your service in a message. Like the last thing that someone wants to hear. And it, I guess it's like there's if you I analyze a lot of cold emails, right? I find pleasure in analyzing people's cold emails, so I do it for fun
Uh-huh.
and their messages, and they're still doing things that we were doing 5 years ago, where it would be like literally this first line is thought you'd be interested in a service that I provide. It's like
Mm.
there's no attempt at even trying to develop any relationship there.
Yeah, yeah, I know. And once in a while, over the years, I've had some successful cold emails that get to me, and I end up working with companies. But yeah, it's usually, yeah, those ones that are just trying to pitch right away. It's like I don't even respond, or I just
Hmm.
delete right away. Yeah, maybe can you speak to, so I guess in the last 5 years, how has that industry changed? Is it more of just trying to, I guess when you do reach out to people, trying to build a relationship at first? Are you talking about like in that first email you send out, you're just like trying to figure out who they are and what problems they have, or is that kind of?
S- Yeah, so it really depends because like so we're one of our partners, we're filling up events for them, and they're free events, but we're not developing any relationship in the first message there. Our first message is literally inviting them to an event, but it's how do you structure the message in a way that entices them to actually want to go to the event? They
Mhm.
they say yes. The first message, I just want them to say yes, or I'm interested, or okay. That's I want to reduce the amount of effort that they're put in, thought that they're put into the answer. I don't want them to write anything more than 3 words. So if you're going to automate it at scale, I think I would do it like that. You'll have a message that is an incredibly enticing, no-brainer to say yes to. But then on the other side, on my personal brand side, I'm just generally trying to get connection. So I've got a new coaching group right now. I launched it. I started prospecting it for it this week, just through Twitter. And I probably booked. I had 50 followers at the time, and I probably booked 10 calls from those followers because it was all reaching out to them in a personal way and giving them a message. The second, third message was still a copy, not an automated. It was a templated message that I had, but it was a complete no-brainer. It was like I help this do this. I'll give you a free analysis, no charge because I'm looking for testimonials for my new group. Are you interested? They'd be like, yes. They book a call. The idea is I get them on the call. I give them as much value as possible on the call, basically solve their problem. I want to solve people's problem before they pay me for it. And then
Mhm.
people are basically like, Ravi, this is really good. I got so much value from it. My group's $27 a month. It's literally like nothing to get the help that I think 5 years of my experience will give you. And that's for tech, more so like tech startup founders. And this was interesting because I got on a call with some client who became a client. I become his client for his software as well because it's a Twitter AI software. He's like us tech founders, we're good at building the tech, our software developers and all that, but we're not good at the marketing. We're not good at the speaking. So he goes, if you teach us how to do that, we'll love you for it. And so I think now I've found a little niche that I'm gonna go try and go after.
Okay, I love it. I love it. Are you, so is your group on, is it like a Facebook private group?
It's WhatsApp.
WhatsApp. Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
right.
I've not even built a sales page for it or anything. Because I wanted to prove that I can get 10 people in before having anything.
Mhm.
Because what I teach is you don't need any tools, anything expensive. If you have a WhatsApp, I don't know, so if you have a Twitter profile and you've got solutions to give, you can just message people and you can literally earn a recurring business income every month in a group coaching where you don't have to serve anyone individually, but still serve them really well. And yeah, so I've got 5 people in at the moment, and this is just like a bit of prospecting here and there. Once
Mhm.
I've got 10 people in, I'm going to use them as feedback to tell me what I should be putting on the page based on the things that they want rather than what I think they want. Then I've got a Google Doc and a sales page, which would just be a very simple headline, VSL, calendar, or sign up. So yeah, simple WhatsApp, and then I'm going to do weekly Zoom calls with them where I do the teaching, essentially.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. Awesome. You know, it reminds me. So I just finished a cohort end of January, and so I ran it for 4 weeks, and yeah, I did live Zoom trainings every week, and they were more about, based on kind of my channel as Everyman's Hustle. So I was trying to reach people that are thinking about starting a business or are starting a business that just want to kind of grow it. And, but yeah, that's, I like your kind of model. So my model was just, since it was my first cohort, I did it free, and then throughout that I did a one-on-one coaching call with each
Mm.
person, and yeah, it was great, and I got great feedback, and I like what you're where you're going with that too. Is let's ask them what they want, what they need, and you can build what they need, and what they need is probably what others need as well. So
Yeah,
I like
and
where you're
and
going with that.
you can only get that when you this is another thing against automating from the start, because once I got on a call with one person, I told her this is what the group is. I gave her a lot of value on the call, and I said, "Do you want to join my group? This is what it is." And I went through it, and then she's like, "Oh no, I don't want to, because first I need to get my USP sorted first before I join your group about cold outreach." But then in my group, I teach you about USP, but I didn't tell her that. Then I missed something that I didn't tell her. Now I know I have to mention something like that, because she wouldn't have joined the group just because I didn't say 3 letters USP.
Okay.
Another important thing, that get their feedback to know what you need to tell them.
Yep. Yeah, so that's a great idea, and I love that. And I think one of the things when I started putting my course together, and have you heard of Dan Co?
I have, like, on Twitter. I don't know much about him.
Yeah,
I'm really new.
yeah. So he's definitely somebody. I mean, maybe that's even how we met. I've possibly.
I think I follow
But
him
yeah,
for sure.
okay, yeah. So I saw a video of his about a month and a half ago. It was basically like, you should be teaching a course with what you know. And so I was like, oh, this is a no-brainer. So that's kind of where I went with that. But he also encouraged you to, he's like, your first course is probably going to suck. And he said, but you should build in public. So as I was starting to put my course together, I was tweeting about it and hashtag build in public. And yeah, I was posting about it on Instagram too, and kind of getting feedback as I went from just friends and from people I met online. And it was great to kind of do that. And when I pivoted as I went, and I finally ended up on what I taught. But yeah, there's something powerful, and just like, instead of going into a silo and you're like, I'm going to create something and then I'm going to launch it and I hope people, it's so good to get feedback along the way.
And sell it first.
Yes.
Don't spend 2 months trying to build something that may not even sell. But no, Matt, I'm interested how you saw me and why because I had 70 followers or something small, and then I saw you had 10K, and I was like really happy that, a guy with 10K followers actually followed me. So I was wondering why and where did you see it? And it's amazing that we're on this call now after that.
No, yeah. After, I'll have to go back and look to see exactly where I found you. I think it might have been in Danco's chat. So I'm just kind of jumping into different followers that are way up and follow further than me along in the journey of, as far as audience goes. And yeah, for me, it's like, I know that people that are interested in his content are probably going to be interested in my content. And then I looked at your bio and definitely relate to it. I've been selling B2B too for a long time. So yeah, that's how I found you. And yeah, I think it probably just happened over the weekend.
Yeah.
But so that is kind of a strategy on building your following, is to interact with similar people. It's not like I'm going to jump into beauty influencers Twitter, follow a bunch of beauty people, because it's like, and it's so cool that you can like we can connect, we can meet, and we're already, just because we've had somebody in common, like we know our interests are going to be in common as well. Yeah.
Like I feel bad that I just jumped on Twitter now, like last month, when it's been around for ages, and I found in this month it's been the fastest platform to connect with someone. That's LinkedIn and Facebook, the easiest and fastest.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, LinkedIn is used to be. I mean, you could still do it, but I think LinkedIn's getting a lot of spam. You obviously know that.
A lot.
So yeah, it's harder, and also the with the paid features, if you're paying or not paying, but yeah, oftentimes when I reach out to somebody on LinkedIn, and also when I reach out to people on LinkedIn, sometimes I never hear back, and then it goes the other way too. People reach out to me, and I've just been off it for a while, because I think people on LinkedIn, although I feel like it's changing, but I think for me in the past, LinkedIn was like, okay, I'm going to update my bio, but I'm not like on it like a social network like Twitter. But I have seen that change over the last month, because I've been trying to post on LinkedIn regularly. So there is like the feed, and the feeds are like, the people that I'm following on LinkedIn are just, they're getting hundreds of comments, and their comments are very, even more so than Twitter, because you can post more characters, but they're very
Yeah.
thoughtful. And the simple is like on Twitter, you'll get like you get a longer response, but on LinkedIn, people are going really deep on the responses to the content that you're putting out. So definitely lots of value there too.
Yeah, LinkedIn, I've found that I don't have, because of the automation, I've got 13,000 followers, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're not like, they don't actually follow me. I've connected with them over the past 5 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I get a really bad reach. So if I make a post, I'll get hardly any. That's because I've not made any effort back when I've started connecting with people, not made a genuine effort to actually get to know someone. Like the same way I'm doing on Twitter now, I'm trying to get to know everyone that follows me, send them a personal message. I didn't do that on LinkedIn. So people follow me on LinkedIn who don't know who I am, and like vice versa. So I think, yeah, I truly believe going back to like just really starting real relationship with people. I think we're in that post trust era, right? Where nobody trust is at an all-time low.
Mm-hmm.
So whether you're selling something, going to require what's in it for me, are you even credible, and this kind of thing that all goes in a cold message. What's in it for me? Is this person crazy? Are you credible enough? And you have a simple call to action. Are you going to waste my time? Basically, it's the same thing in developing relationships. So yeah, I would definitely recommend people to, if you're new trying to build a software or business, just do the kind of grunt work up front with messaging people, trying to just develop those relationships. And in 6 months, I think it will skyrocket. It will be exponential.
Yeah, for sure. I had a question for you. So you mentioned you were working for, was it one of your clients that you were building like an event for?
It's a partner now, so like we partnered with them.
Okay, so you partnered, and are the events on LinkedIn, or are they like on a webinar? Or?
So it's on the Zoom, so it's separate to LinkedIn. We use LinkedIn and email to promote it, and now we're running ads to it as well, Google Ads. This is a partner with, it's got like a lot more backing because they've been around. They've got a free app as well with 80,000 users on it, so they've a lot more credibility with it. Like the owner is like a top 20 Instagram influencer and was even featured on The Secret, the documentary. So a lot bigger operation than with me. It's just me and my business partner, like just two dudes from England, just with a handful of clients, just doing our thing. But yeah, we're running LinkedIn outreach to a landing page for them to sign up, and then from there we give them as much value on the call, and then we invite them to call to an assessment to see if what we do is any synergy with what the client needs.
Okay, that makes sense. So how long have you and your business partner been working together?
Probably like 3 years now. I think 3.5 years.
Okay.
It was interesting because we're both growth hackers, so we were in a growth hacking group where when I was trying to scale my software, and then he messaged me because we did the similar thing, and I thought, oh god, why is someone messaging me just trying to get some knowledge out of me or something like that? And I reluctantly agreed to a call. I met him, and then I was like, actually, dude, you're really smart, and you're from the UK as well. I think you're my age, from the UK. We just related. We had the same goals. Thought, okay, this makes sense. Let's just partner up together. And then since then, we've been to this day, we speak every day and do everything together, basically.
That's awesome. So is it just like a verbal partnership, or is there a legal thing behind it, or?
Not like an actual legal thing. I guess nothing in contract. Not got a company together.
Okay.
That would
I
be
see.
the plan. There is some level of trust though between, like, we all have access to the back end of everything we need. So if there's anything wrong going, we know. But look, we have the same goals. We talk a lot, so it's not like, I don't think at this point there needs to be a real contract in place. But I'm sure definitely as we want to take this somewhere else, then we'll definitely need something like that.
Okay. Yeah. Just curious. Yeah, so it's not something I like to talk about often, but I had a kind of a business partner a number of years ago, and started off really well, and then I think at some point that person started to get resentful, and then yeah, just the and we talked a lot too. So I'm not
Yeah,
trying to
it's
encourage you
good to
to
be
do.
aware of for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And I think especially as both of you guys, or as you guys start to grow, it's like when more money is involved, it can be sometimes.
Right. People think like, oh, who's doing more, who's doing less. Yeah, yeah. It is
Yeah,
definitely good to be aware of.
yeah, yeah. So what's your big goal like for your like group? And now is the WhatsApp group, is that something that you and your partner are running
Uh,
together? Or is that just
no,
you
it's
running
more so
that?
just it's more of a passion project because I just
Okay.
enjoy it. I I seem to enjoy. I think I'm good at rewriting emails and lead generation, right? And the whole idea of getting someone from cold to warm. I believe to think I'm good at that because I built everything without ads. So I've like never run an ad in my life. And I know that in my hacking days, the whole idea of growth hacking is how do we do things at the fastest way, but the cheapest way without, how do we get discounts and everything and just not spend money. So I learned a lot of principles along the way. So these are the kind of things I want to teach people who are new. They don't have the experience that me 5 years ago. And I wish someone, instead of buying a 3 4K course, which there's no personal interaction in, and they're just given these videos, in my coaching, people that have coached me, I've got a lot more value out of people that have not coached one on one, but people have actually got on a call with, show some interest in me, not just giving me some videos to watch. I felt most of that maybe I haven't put enough effort into that, but I've wasted my money in courses in that way. So I think I can give people a cheap way to, or a low cost way to actually get their goals in life and get started. And also, like, I'm born and raised in the UK, but my ethnicity is Indian. My family come from India. Obviously, if in India they don't have the exchange rate and everything, they don't have as much money, and for them even $27 a month is it's a decision for them. And like for us, it's just it's nothing. But I I know for them that I can help them, and that's another thing. Like if I can help people who don't have as much as me, like less fortunate in ways, just because I was born in a more wealthier country, in so to speak, in better circumstances, then I should. Especially because those guys have a disadvantage. I'm fortunate in a way that I have an English accent because I'm born and raised in the UK, and people just way of life, people respect you more compared to if you have an Indian accent, right? And I can help people who certain words, certain things they say, it's so subtle as well. Like you can tell it like an email if it's written from someone foreign or not. It's the subtleties, and those are the things that people think, oh, he's not professional because he's not written it like that. So if I can teach people how to actually approach the Western market in a certain way, in the right way, with value based, and that personally, that's something that I take a lot of, I guess, joy in that sense.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So how did you initially come to growth marketing, or what first led you to get started in that?
Yeah, generally growth marketing. I had a job working in an agency in London, like a 9 to 5 job, and then I didn't work. It didn't work out there. I dislocated my shoulder as well the weekend before, and it was a period of that I didn't enjoy in my life. And I was thinking, okay, how do I make this dislocation how do I make it a positive? And I've never wanted to work for someone. I've always wanted to work for myself since the age of whatever 18. I never liked the idea of that everyone else is doing these 9 to 5 graduate schemes. I just couldn't see myself doing it. So I'm not inherently lazy. I wouldn't say lazy, but I'd like to find the most efficient way to get somewhere, um, the most speedy way to get somewhere. And since the age of 12, I've been doing all sorts on the internet, finding ways of researching and things like that to get knowledge and things like that. So put it all together, I found people on YouTube who are doing this growth hacking stuff, joined a group, was grandfathered in on $50 for the entire group, built a network there. started giving my own solutions, learning a lot from people, giving my own solutions. Actually did a video with the owner of the growth hacking group, so I was in the module itself, which got me a bit more, like, people got to know me in the group there. Then people started reaching out to you saying, Ravi, you can do this. And for me, it's like, yeah, I'll just help you. I just grow that network. And then slowly, you get a bit more respect, and then you get your own confidence builds. Where before, people are scared, they why are they not posting on Facebook or Twitter or anything? Because they're thinking, I don't have anything good to say. Well, who's going to respect me enough? The imposter syndrome. But then eventually you get to a point where you meet people who are even ahead of you in life, but you know things that they don't know, and you can share those things, and you can give them value, even though they earn more than you. You can still give them value, and I think we all can find that something about ourselves that to share.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's why I'm doing what I'm doing, and yeah, I think it's and so yeah, with my thing, my Everyone's Hustle, I think the next iteration for me is teaching some classes on some videos and maybe doing some coaching as well. But yeah, I want to help people that were same thing. I want to help others. And
Yeah. How new is your podcast?
so the podcast is just a couple weeks old, or 1 or 2 weeks
Awesome.
old.
Awesome.
So
Really
yeah,
cool.
you are a guest. Let's see, I think 5.
Oh,
So
that's really nice.
yeah. So I've got 2 in the queue. One's going to post tomorrow. So 2 are live right now, and so yeah. I've this is my 3rd podcast. So I ended one end of last year that I did, I think 20 or so episodes, and that was with my company and with Daniel, who works with me, and so yeah, it was just us 2. Yeah, the reason I stopped doing that one, the focus was e-commerce, and about a year ago I pivoted that way for my company, and I was like wanted to become the e-com marketing agency, but then I realized that it wasn't really my kind of wheelhouse, so to speak. So although we still do work with e-commerce companies, I don't know, I just found that I didn't want to paint myself into that box of just we only work with e-commerce.
Yeah. This is the first podcast I've ever been on.
Okay,
So
awesome.
thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah. Thanks for being. Yeah, I posted yesterday on Twitter if anybody wants to be on the podcast. So, thanks for being courageous. Yeah, that's
And look,
awesome.
if there's any, I'm always happy to help anyone with their cold messages and give analysis and things like that. So if your audience or anyone you know ever needs help, just feel free to send them over. Gladly
Okay.
to help them, really.
Yeah, definitely. So where can people find you? I'll have like links in the show notes, but
Yeah, I think Twitter's probably the best. Yeah, because I want to grow that audience. Yeah, it's just Rav_Pandya. My name basically Rav_Pandya, and yeah, Twitter would be the best place.
Okay. Awesome. Let's see what else. So what time is it? Are we 12 hours ahead? Is it?
It's 10 past 8 p.m.
Oh, 10 past 8 p.m. Got it. You know what we'll have to do? So what I'm starting to do is, since the show is so new, I'd love to maybe do a check-in with you in a month or so. We can maybe follow your journey along. Yeah, I guess maybe let's end with this. What what would you have to say to somebody who's thinking about starting their own business? Like, what words of advice would you give to somebody who's on the fence? They're afraid because of maybe they're just trapped or not trapped, but they're in the 9 to 5, and but they're thinking about starting their own business. What advice would you give to them?
Okay. Think about what you want to actually serve, like what solutions you want to provide, like what you're good at, and find someone that is ahead of you that can help you get there. I would say if you're going to go for coaching, you don't need an expensive course. Find a coach who has a monthly, not me, I'm not saying, because this is what I have coaches like. They have a monthly group where it doesn't cost you much, but they have a lot more interaction with you and they can help you. And just stick with one person, right? I had the habit of jumping here, download all this kind of stuff, and I didn't focus on one thing. Stick with one thing and just stick with it and keep doing it. And your attitude with your outreach is any social media platform, start building your personal brand, and start building it all around how can I provide solutions for people, and then start messaging people with the mindset of I want to give them solutions. Like don't ever ask, just give. Keep giving, keep giving, keep giving, and build your network. And that would be step by step, like that, brick by brick. Lay that perfect brick, as they say, but that perfect brick means is try to develop a really strong relationship with every person you meet and help each other, and you'll grow together. And I think that would be the best method. And never be afraid of showing yourself online, even if it's vulnerability. Nobody cares at the end of the day, right? You just, if you give, then nobody actually judges you. So to never be afraid of that.
Nice. I love it. I love it. Do you know Gary Vaynerchuk at all? Gary V?
Yeah.
Yeah, one of his books was like give jab, and I love it. You're just like give no jab.
Yeah, you can jab him in a subtle way, but then that's slightly advanced later.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's great.
Yeah.
Awesome. Ravi, we'll do another podcast in a month or so, but let's keep in touch, and I will definitely look forward to following you and seeing your content, and we'll stay in touch on Twitter.
Yeah, likewise, Matt. So thanks for having me on here. I would really look to follow you and support your content on Twitter as well. And yeah, man, look forward to coming back again.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Ravi.
All right, all the best, man. Take care.
Okay, yeah, you too, man. Bye.
All right, friends, thanks for listening and watching. Please subscribe and like and share with your friends if you found value in this. And we'll see you next time. Thanks a lot.